podcast era. We've left the era of corporate record labels, and we're swiftly approaching the podcast era, but we're not there yet. Why is it? There's a missing piece that we rediscover today with our guest, Berklee College of Music alum, 36-year-old rock music veteran and gym owner, Bear Knox. Okay? We're going to rediscover together the piece, the missing piece, the lost piece that will be found today in this episode, and that rock fans and rock stars themselves will use to rebuild and launch us into the next era of podcast rock. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The Rock Show with Connor Farrell. Today, our guest is Bear Knox. Bear Knox, we were just talking about YouTube. What were you saying about YouTube? I was saying it's weird.
I was saying that it's a lot of mid-level psychological manipulation tactics that attempt to really get people to click a video and then stay active, because watch time is king, right? So you really want to have people stick around, and that's difficult because after 40 seconds, if they're not absolutely wowed, they're jumping ship. And that's, I think that's a tough thing that musicians are struggling to overcome, because there's a billion of us releasing constantly, and we're trying to figure out, hey, can I fill enough air with words instead of an instrument? And that's kind of tough. But just the clickable stuff, the thumbnail stuff, it's like, hey, do I outline myself in white? Do I do this shit like ha, that thing, so that somebody will click, because open mouths, open mouths. Make sure, yeah. 3 things that you've never heard in your whole life. People play guitar. Yeah, I mean, just it's like, and a lot of the baiting stuff. It works to get the click, and then people click and they come in and they're like, shit, I feel robbed because I got manipulated into coming here, and then they get mad and they leave sometimes. But people, musicians, creators are trying to find a way into this space. And that's what got you and I talking. You were discussing, when you did your Beato video, the post genre, if you will, and pre-podcast era that we have found ourselves in. And I totally agree with you about that. I think that podcasting does have a place. A lot of the local scenes are dead. A lot of musicians like myself, I don't have a band, I can't walk out on stage. I don't do the looper stuff. I play the instruments. I record the drums, I record the guitars. I sing the stuff. I do the bass. I play the synth. And it's I can't be 6 people on a stage, and I don't do looper stuff. I just that's not my shtick. It's not my thing. And I've played in bands for years and years. I've done a lot of stuff. I lived in Austin, Texas for probably 5-ish years. I was a live gigger there. That was my whole deal. But I like the recording process. I love recording. I like the creative element of musicianship. It's what I want to do. I'm like a visual artist. I lock myself in a studio, make art and put it out. And then I have to say hey, for the love of God, listen to this. And if you like my personality, maybe you'll like my G major 7 chord or some shit. And so, can I say cuss words? I don't want to mess you up.
Go for it.
Fucking, all right, cool. But I do think there's a place to discuss the life of a musician, the life of a creative, the life of an artist on camera, and people might be interested in it. You were saying that comedians they've certainly found their podcast era. And when I wrote to you, I said that I thought that the audience gives them a license to ramble for a while and kind of find nuggets of comedy. And since that's kind of what you do on stage as a comedian, you pace back and forth. And if you do the Louis C.K. route, you just bullshit for 30, 40 seconds into a joke. And so the rambling is a part of the act. And musicians, people are like, listen, if you're not poignant or philosophical, you don't have some David Bowie or some Frank Zappa level psychological jujitsu you can throw on me, then go fuck yourself. Just play the pop music and get out of here. I hope I've I haven't filmed in quite some time this particular podcast, but I had a podcast for a while called Audio Archaeology, where I would go to a random record store, I'd, draw a record store out of a hat, go grab a vinyl that I'd never seen before. I would literally judge a book by its cover. I would pick up the cover and be like, hey, that's interesting. That's a cool piece of artwork. I'd bring it home, listen to it, and then talk about the songs, and then talk about, what gear was used to record it, or like who were the personnel on the records, like in contrast to what else was released that year. What is this about? Yada yada. I would just have long format conversation about that type of stuff. I feel like it's a pretty cool topic, but it's trying to find the podcast footing is difficult and challenging, and I like that. So that's why I'm here with you, man. I think you're onto something. I think that you will. I think you'll succeed. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of this. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate the kind words you're saying. You're like, oh, I think you're going to succeed. I'm like, I do. I hope so. But yeah, I do too. And there's something weird about that. I'll stop off, but I do want to get back to the audio archaeology, because that sounds fascinating. And I actually have some. Well, let's start there. Okay, so Gary V. I'm certain you might be aware of the Gary V. guy, right?
Sure.
And so what he's kind of like, I saw a thing like a year ago, but he's been saying it. He's like, podcasts already exist. He's like, the best thing you can do is take the guest and then be doing an activity. He's like, he threw out one. He was like, call it serial entrepreneur. It's him talking to other entrepreneurs while eating cereal, and each episode is a different cereal, right?
That's nice.
But like,
That's
it's
nice.
just something like, exactly. And so like, if you're doing audio archaeology, I think it'd be hysterical if you get up in full Indiana Jones outfit. You're walking in, you grab the thing, you got the whip, and you have a guest, and you're doing like a little bit of a Nardwuar type of thing, where you're just like, you're walking in with the guest to do an activity. I think that's why, like Nardwuar might be successful, because I can't figure it out. Well, personally for me, it's like, his whole bit, I'm not the target audience, I don't think. But
no, neither am I.
It just doesn't resonate with me. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's respect. And that's the thing, is like, everyone's got this idea too, that like everything has to be for them all the time. And like, they don't understand that, like, oh no, other people like this kind of music and you can like this kind of music. It doesn't mean that this is like, oh no, it's bad music. You're like, no, it's just like not something that you were ever going to like.
Yeah.
You're just not the person for this.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. For a long time, man, people would ask, non-musicians would ask like what my favorite type of music is, and I've always responded, or for a long time I've responded with, I like good music. I'm not genre specific, and good means it inspired me or wowed me in some way. The end. That's it. That's all it is. Like, and there's a lot of stuff out there that is supersonically pleasing, well formulated and written and performed beautifully, and I hate it, and so it's like, it's fine for me to hate that, and it's fine for you to love the same thing, and we could still probably be friends about it. Like, it's cool. So I think that's probably one of the most difficult elements of our current market, is the fact that we are the gatekeeping era of the label, where they've shopped talent, they sent out scouts, they found somebody live, or they found, a local act that they bolstered up through local radio into something, a bigger national blossom thing. Like when Clear Channel bought everything in the 90s, it like streamlined us into genres, and they could kind of build on the back of, hey, we got a grunge thing going, we're going to drive grunge home. And that was, it was a massive corporate, endeavor, which worked, which is great. But at this juncture, the technology has allowed us all to jump on board simultaneously and try to like scream into the void and be like, over here, and it's like, what is it, 150,000 releases a day on Spotify, something like that. I'm grateful that we have the opportunity. It still costs a lot of money to create music and art, and it takes a long time to set up everything, but but that's relative. It doesn't cost $1 million anymore. It might cost 10 grand, but it doesn't cost like, you don't need a $500,000 SSL. You can model one and have like a UA plugin batch or get your Steven Slate plugins, pay your monthly and get access to a lot of really good sounding stuff. So now that exists, the music industry is a lot more like the wine industry, where you're just walking through. There's 10,000 bottles there in front of you at Total Wine, and you're like, that label's cool. I like Syrah and Petite Vigne Merlot. I'll go with that. And it's like, how else do you shop? And if you go on Spotify, it's like, hey, did you know that the latest rap is popular? Eat this shit. Get this. And so, good for, the mega stars. Of course, the labels have majority stake in the company. Of course, they're going to put their people to the front. This is a marketing game. It always has been. It's just we're able to produce, record, produce, and release our stuff unlike ever before. And I don't think most artists have ever even sniffed what the music marketing industry is. And it's terrifying for a lot of people, and that makes sense. But music, like anything else, is when you're trying to sell it, it's a business. And, how do you get people interested in your business? You talk to them. So that's where, I think you're onto the on the right path, I should say, with the podcasting concept. So I'm glad you're doing it, man.
Yeah, well, I'm glad too, and I'm glad that people there's actually I'm actually reaching people, and you're you're a perfect example. I'm like, this is exactly what my thesis was. I was like, if I go on and I can start saying things, and I can actually get something to go through the algorithm, So this is something you said right there with the marketing thing, and they got to see it, and then they go, oh, it's like walking through wine. You see a bottle, you go, oh, that looks cool, and then you drink it. And on the YouTube they say, if they don't click, they don't watch.
That's right.
If they don't click, if you don't have a title, you don't have a thumbnail, nothing happens. None of the rest of it happens. Yeah. Right? It's so if you don't have an album art or some version of that, right? Something that people instantly that first thing, then if that doesn't work, it doesn't matter how good your song is, right?
That's right.
I got into the trap a little bit of thinking oh, I need to make more music. I need to make more music. Meanwhile, the music I have made, I've got songs in there where people are like, this is incredible. I have it on my playlist. I listen to it every time at the gym. You're like, yeah, no, the problem isn't a lack of supply of music. It's a lack of getting to people. Yeah. And so my thought was, in general, if we can get out and get to people, we can find the right people. All we have to do is wave a flag and be like, this is who I am. This is what I like. This is who I am. This is what I like. If you like the same stuff and want to talk about this and figure this out, stay here. Stay here. Yeah. And we're all going to come together. Because I'm surprised that no one's assembled the rockers. No one's assembled, I particularly love rock music. I would say that's my main thing is, I like everything that's good, but I'm what I love and come back to all the time is rock. And so I'm how has no one waved the flag and said, hey, rock people, let's conjoin forces. Let's do this. No one's figured it out yet, right? It's almost, it's one of those things where it's for the longest time, no one had figured out electricity. And you'd be like, well, there's no way electricity is possible because no one's done it yet. If it was possible, someone would have done it. But then again, it's until the first guy goes, wait a minute, we could just do this. Did we not know? And they're like, well, no. And then they're like, wait, I'm experimenting. Wait, holy crap, it's working. I had my first videos that got any views on YouTube was the Beato video. And then I did one right after that. And it's instantly I go, oh, there's people following me on Instagram from the video. Oh, they're messaging me. Oh, wait. And it's not just one word, shitty comment. It's oh, exactly the people I was looking to find, right? Well, man, my whole thesis is if we can get on here and start talking, hopefully we all can start talking and reach people and more people, and then there's a big network. And so it's I don't have to be the best talker or the most entertaining or make the best music or know the most stuff. It's I just have to be able to get other people to start going, and someone is gonna pop off, because then once people have clicked on them and they have a big audience, it takes zero effort for them to just be like, hey, check out my friend. And then all the people who like their friends, boom, they automatically sort into the fan bases for everyone else.
That's
It's
right.
like that was my thought. And so it seems to me that I'm the first one. I'm the first guy doing electricity. I'm like, how is no one doing this? You've got like nerdy people on the internet making videos like either doing like stupid drama stuff, or they're doing whatever in music, or they're just like, there's the guy Rockfeed, which, you know, all love to him, but just being like, look, there's a new Avenged Sevenfold single coming out tomorrow. And you're just like, okay, but like, it's just giving you just things you could Google. It's just
Yeah.
updates on things. But I'm just
Yeah.
like, where is the past the updates and this stuff? Where are the other people who are like the thriving community? Because it's
Yeah.
there. I've been to tons of shows. I've played tons of shows. I'm like, but where are we? Why aren't we here? Why does no one know about it? Like, where are the videos that I would watch?
That's right. And there is a.
And it can't just be Rick Beato. It can't be a 70-year-old dude who, like, I love him and I love all his stuff. I have the Beato book. I printed it out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it can't just be Rick Beato.
Yeah.
Why isn't there more? And then here's the thing too. You'll have people on Instagram or TikTok and they go viral, but people are getting like 2-3 seconds of you. My thesis is, like you were saying, I think words versus the music. I can do music and captivate people, but can I captivate people with words? Can I fill air with words for long enough? And I think the thing is, people need the story and the connection to you and that story of what's going on. What's the journey I'm joining you on before they'll even think to check out the music. And then they go, oh, wait, this music's really good. And then they tell everyone. But the first step is you need to get people like, you need to get them in. That's how you light the fuse, because we've got giant bombs. We got kegs full of gunpowder. But like, unless they come up and they go, and they light the fuse, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
I guess that's my kind of thesis. His story needs to happen first, because there's so much good music. And honestly, in the age of AI, people say like AI is going to take over music and it's going to be making all the music. I think we're already at that point, just because there's so many billions of people. Anything you want is already made. And the question isn't, can you make something that no one's ever heard before? I think people are going to only care. I think now it's gone to the extreme. I think in the past, people cared a little bit about, is the music good and the story behind it. I think now, because there's infinite music, infinite supply, they just care about the story part. Do I like the story of this artist? Do I like the journey of this artist? The first time I heard Hot to Go, I was like, this is hot to garbage. I didn't like it. I was like, it's not an impressive song. My cousin was like, we should cover it. I hadn't heard about Chappell Roan or any of this stuff. But then I saw her story, and now I have the foresight to go, oh, it's 6 months later. And I'm like, oh, of course this thing would be great. This is electricity. Of course people would like this. And I would be on board. But at first I wasn't. It was because without the context of the story, I didn't care at all. It's not nearly that, like, things need the story. And I think that's what's going to come next. And I don't think Rick Beato is really giving the story of the future. But that's not what he's trying to do, and he's doing great. Yeah. But I also don't think Rockfeed, who's giving updates on things, I don't think these people are. But someone needs to, and that's the only way we move forward. Yeah, that's what I think.
That's right. There has to be a discovery base, you know. Good job. There has to be a discovery. There has to be a discovery base, you know. Like, there's the local venues are gone. I mean, so to speak. Like, you know, it depends on where you are. But like, man, when I was in, say, somewhere like Austin, like, that's a music hotspot, no doubt. But a lot of what's going on in Austin is bars need bands to play cover songs. And that's how I got paid. Like, that's how I ate food. You know what I mean? It's like I learned the 90s catalog and played it, you know, and like, that's what a working musician does, a gigging musician does. And like, you know, every now and again, you'll get a chance to lay out some originals, but oftentimes that's not what people are coming to shows for. That's not what they're coming to bars for. They're coming to bars so that they can just drink and talk and enjoy themselves, and there's like noise going on in the background. Like, but when people are trying to actively go and look for music, what they're looking for, typically they're not looking for music. Like, it hits them, they find it, they discover it, which is why people, I think, get so angry at like music advertisement. They see the advertisement thing and they're like, I don't want to be marketed music. I just want to I want to trip over something and find my music, and then it feels organic and real to me. So in that regard, I feel like this podcasting avenue is something that's going to work because you find a person relatable, or you find just some of their thoughts interesting, and you listen to them think out loud for a minute, and then you go check out their art. And if you dig that, great, you stick around, you become a part of their artistic journey and hopefully contribute in some way. But that is, I think that just the
We have a
extreme
lag out.
amount of
We have a lag out.
art that is being released,
Lag.
let's say, is so overwhelming to the consumer that their only option is to.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a lag out.
Oh man, are we lagged out?
Sorry to interrupt your broadcast. We've had a lag out. The
Oh, I
lag
think
has
we are
occurred.
lagged out. Okay,
And
hold
now
tight.
we are out. We're waiting on our wonderful guest, Bear Knox.
Oh.
Bear Knox. Go check out Bear Knox on Instagram. We're waiting for Bear Knox to come back, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, in the meantime,
Am I back yet?
There's a band called Helmet. They have a song called In the Meantime. It's their second most popular song. Behind. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Anyways, this is okay. I'm talking to Mr. Bear here. See, he was glitching out for the last whole minute. So if you just saw me nodding, you're gonna be like, "Oh, that's why he was nodding and not saying anything." I was like, "Oh, hopefully the lag will stop," but I'm like, "I'll just keep going.
Why
Let
am I
him
glitching
cook.
so much?
Let him
Damn
cook."
it, Riverside.
Let's see. You disappeared. See, guys, this is fun because I just knew we were going to sit down and have a good conversation. Just figure these things out, hash these things out. I didn't know what we're going to really talk about, except for kind of a lot of these ideas, actually. Like, what's going on? I think we're in the podcast era, not the whatever algorithm era. Like, what does the algorithm give you? It either gives you useless content, right, or it gives you personality driven stuff. You do a little bit of clickbait. Basically, they say brain rot and clickbait. Brain rot and clickbait. I need to click it. The ring. Gollum. We need to click the ring. We need to grab the ring. Gollum needs to grab the ring. It does. And so there's a little bit of clickbait, but I think the real defining thing, and so algorithm, people think algorithm, they think oh, it's either going to be hyper personalized, but that's not what you're doing. Rick Beato knows this. He knows that Spotify's filling their stuff with ghost songs and stuff, and it's not algorithm based. It's they're I wouldn't say cutting corners, but they are definitely doing things in a very bootstrapped way that you would expect from me building a website, not from a giant company with millions and millions of dollars who's putting all their money into doing the creator stuff because they realize they can make more money as a YouTube competitor than probably as a music licensing thing because no one's really paying for music. That's the whole crux here. No one cares about music in isolation. They only care about it in the context of a rapper. And so that's the reason the death of rock. Let me call this rock is dead. Or is it? I don't know. We're going to figure out what this video is called later. And I'm going to do a little intro that leads into this. But you know what? Let me see my guest. Is he even back here? Let's see. I'm back. All good. All good. Let's see. Hey, you're back.
Hey, sorry. Dude.
So you lagged out.
Man, look, I was just talking about how good the technology was, right?
Lag against the machines.
So, now that we're in this place, now that we're in this, conversational place, what is it that you would think a good music podcast would be? Like breaking new artists, something like that?
Oh, you've lagged out a little. I didn't hear your question.
Can you hear me?
You lagged out.
Jeez, man, what's going on?
I couldn't hear what your question was.
So
Yeah, your internet's a little weak,
it
I
is.
think.
I don't know why. That's very strange.
Oh,
All right,
the mystery of the internet.
I'll turn off my Mac Wi-Fi here. Maybe that'll help. Okay, so question is,
We're gonna throw the Mac into the ocean. What?
so you like, what are your thoughts on having like a music podcast? Like, is it developing an up and coming artist community? Is that the podcast concept for you? Is like to bring on artists, have them discuss, and in the rock field, in the general rock field, is it breaking them via personality? Is that kind of your thought process?
My thought is, I think the model that's sustainable is the comedian thing, and I think the best example of that is probably Joe Rogan. And the reason I'll say that is I think it shows that you can really have on whoever's interesting a little bit, and you could have on just other musicians a little bit, regardless of size for either, right? But then the big thing is like just get on big people that like people want to hear from, and people who are already in communities where everyone's used to clicking on their name on a YouTube, right? Like Rick Beato, everyone's used to clicking his name when they see his face on YouTube. I made a video about Olivia Rodrigo. No one's clicked on that one. It's a similarly clickbaity title, but, the Rick Beato one gets 1,000 views in a day, and I'm like, oh my God, I actually have something. Finally, first thing it's ever worked to post on the internet. Oh my God, maybe there is hope. And then the other one doesn't. And so I think the model, anyway, so the model, I think, is going to be have on people who are big. My idea is like if I could get on 5 days a week, famous people, or not even famous, but just people that like have a bunch of followers and audience, so that they can be exposed to me, exposed to my personality, exposed to the stuff I talk about, right? Can kind of get them into the ecosystem, and then 2 days of the week can be, and some of those people can be like Dave Grohl and Sting and David Lee Roth. Like they can be rock stars. Preferably, most of it's rock stars. That's mostly who I'd want to talk to, anyways. Is like famous musicians, people in art and whatnot. Just because that's what I'm interested in. But I would get on big people, and then 2 days a week I could have on completely unknown artists and people. And if I just have them on, the same people, the first Friday of every month I have on the same person, right? And then I do that for like, 4 months, and I've got a big audience. Hopefully that can get people to go over and check them out because they've seen them, they've been exposed to them, they've listened to hours and hours, and maybe they go and check out their podcast. Right. And so I feel like the model is going to be, mostly like 70% is getting big people, and then 20% or 30%, I guess, would be people who you want everyone to be exposed to, right? And so I feel like that could be the model once you're at kind of like carrying capacity, right? But in the meantime, I think my goal with the podcast is, this is what it is. It's to ingratiate myself in communities of existing podcasts and people who are already on. So whether that's comedians, whether that's, I guess I'm trying to think. I'm trying to brainstorm. I like a lot of fitness stuff. I'm super into fitness, so I would have on fitness people, have on comedians, people with big, audiences and stuff like that to expose their community, because I'm certain, like 30% of their community probably also likes rock music, so they'll stick around, especially if I collab over and over. And so if I can get myself in the podcast ecosystem and like go on like 20 podcasts, and then by the end of that year, half of those people are my friends, they're coming on my podcast. I can do the same thing in fitness. I can do the same thing in all these different spaces I like, right? Then I can get established. And then once I'm in that ecosystem, it's just like, boom, because they go, I like the music. I like the mission. I've got a friend who wants to do that. Okay. And so then you get the point where instead of me trying to like grab people to come and look at my stuff and trying to pull them, they're just getting magnetic. They're just like coming to me because they go, I like that thing that he's waving the flag about. Let me run at it. And then so that's kind of my theory. And then I think overall we're going from the record sales paradigm and like the corporate paradigm, like you're talking about, to this new podcast influencer kind of paradigm. I think there's new winners and there's new losers, right? I think there's new people who are successful, and and people who aren't as successful, just as in what the archetype of winning at the game
Right.
looks like is
Yep.
different. And so I think it's going to lean towards people who can be articulate, who have things to
That's right.
talk about, who are interested. Because they say if you're interested in stuff, that's what makes
That's
you
right.
interesting, right? And so like here, like it's so nice talking to you
Yeah.
because you have on some people and just like they're great and they make good art, but they don't like make for a fun conversation or an engaging
Well, it
conversation,
takes a
right?
while to develop interesting stories. You gotta have interesting stuff happen to you. It's really cool.
Well,
It's really
yeah.
cool that you're interested into the fitness world as well. So I own a gym. I own and operate a local
Oh,
gym. And man, yeah,
no
yeah, for
way.
sure. It's an old school iron house. Man, it's a place where bodybuilders and powerlifters and young athletes come and just get their asses kicked, man. And so like it's a cool place. You know, a really good community there. I've built it up over the past 8 years. And yeah, man,
Man.
that's the thing that funds my musical endeavors. So, man,
Yes.
it's cool that you're interested in that, man. I think that that's becoming more pop culture, fitness culture, which is really awesome because,
Hmm.
sure, you got like, you got people looking at dudes that are like banging Trin and they're like, how do I get a 8 pack like that? And I'm like, all right, like, first of all, we need to drop 30 pounds and like walk in our day, try that before we
Yeah.
worry about like setting up our stacks, and so like it's like anything, you see the extreme variants that are shown to you on social media. Like of course, you don't want to watch Joe Smo like doing curls. You want to see, you know, like you want to see Sam Sulek. You want to see like Ronnie Coleman do it, or you want to see C.T. Fletcher scream at you because he's awesome and he's been doing it
Yeah,
forever.
yeah,
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly, man. And it's like
Yeah, buddy.
that to have um, that to happen to a lot of people, uh, just in their social media feed, they see fitness, they see scary stuff like that. Like it kind of throws them off. But I think that it's becoming so popular anyway that more people are actively engaging in like a maintenance routine. And I mean, I tell people all the time, dude, it's like it's brushing your teeth, dude. All right. It's like when you shit, you wipe, right? All right. So like you should like just put something in your week, like squat, bench, overhead press. Like let's focus on some form of strength training, build a good base, focus on your flexibility, your core rotational strength. Like let's just see you become a better variant of yourself throughout time. And if you decide to take on like supreme athletic or like supreme bodybuilding or supreme powerlifting, status, great, go for it. But even if not, man, like just take care of yourself with some routine, some fitness routine that you build in. And I think that the musician community is actively in need of that. Um, so I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston. Surrounded by musicians and artists and creatives and just awesome people. But a lot of the, hardcore music theory, nerd out, people like myself, just kind of lock themselves in a practice room and go super hard on their instrumentation and they just live it so hard and they don't incorporate a form of like fitness outside of that. But dude, it helps your dexterity, like especially as a drummer, like all the fine motor patterns that you have to deal with, all the large format motor patterns that you're trying to program into yourself, like if you do a strength protocol, you'll get better at your instrumentation, any instrumentation, guitar, piano, drums, even vocals. It doesn't matter. Like if you're stronger and you eat better, you'll perform better because as much as it is creative, it is also physical. It's psychomotor activity, and we decorate time with psychomotor activity, and that's awesome. And you got to kind of build a protocol and maintain a protocol in order to be excellent for a long period of time at your given instrument or just the creative process. So I'm glad to hear that you're a part of that, or you're really interested in the fitness world, like, man, owning a gym and being a musician was like, that was my childhood like dream, dude. When I say I'm living the dream, like, bro, I am living the dream. Like, I work out and I play music. Like, it's awesome. Like, and people should engage in that, man. Work out and play tunes. It's good.
Yeah, dude. No, I totally. I've been on this whole kick. I'm usually right now I'm in Arizona visiting family, but usually I'm in San
Okay.
Diego, and there's a gym there called The Gym, and it's old school. It's where a bunch of it's like most of the people are like IFBB
Yeah.
pro, like
Yeah.
bodybuilders. Like it's just crazy. I mean, Trembolo
Yeah.
everywhere. No, but it's just it's wild. You'll see someone like deadlift 1,000 pounds, and you'll be like, "What the hell?" And they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And you're like, "What's your name?" And like he'll be like streaming on like friggin' Twitch or whatever. They'll be like, "Professional weak guy." You're like, "Okay, dude. Okay, okay, okay." And then of course you got the influencer chicks, the bikini girls. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean?
Oh man.
And they've got their butts, and they're just,
The
it's just
the yoga
hysterical.
pants market has never been more excited, man. Like, Lululemon
Oh my
is
god,
just
it's
like,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not complaining. No, but okay. So this is what I was going to say is. So I love it. First off, wait. So where are you located? So that's first question. Where's your
So,
gym?
small town in South Carolina called Batesburg, Batesburg, Leesville, South Carolina. And man, I am right there on Batesburg Highway. And yeah, man, on Farmer Street, right in town. So,
Good.
it's called the BL Gym, and man, it is a
The
yeah,
BL
BL
gym.
Gym. So yeah, that's Batesburg, Leesville, Better Life, Big Lift, whatever you want, man.
There you go.
But yeah, cool spot, man. Really good community there, and this is the town that I grew up in, and I grew up here, moved away when I was 15ish, and then went all over the states. Went to Boston for college, and I went to Cali for a while, record some records. I was in the Carmel area there, and then I moved from Cali to Austin, and I lived there for about 5 years, and then I made my way back here, and I opened the gym, and I built a studio. I built this place for myself, and so I just, I learned how to woodwork and put some shit together. So I became a carpenter to be a musician. But yeah, man, every journey is. It adds to the art, or it is the art. The journey is the art. So the podcast can display that pretty
Yep.
well. But those different topics, like those elements, can be displayed really well with the podcast. Like the fitness element fitting into the musicianship element is near and dear to me because that's what I do
Yep.
every day. But there's a ton of stuff that fits in
Yep.
just the same that's not fitness based. Like, you know, I, I when I was at Berkeley, well, not anymore. I suppose Mike Portnoy's back with Dream Theater, but Mike Mangini was Dream Theater's drummer for a little while, and Mike was a professor of mine. And
Oh
while
wow.
I was there, we were working on like fast singles and stuff together. And it turns out like that dude was an actual rocket scientist. He worked on the Patriot missile. Like he's a legitimate rocket scientist, and he's the fastest singles player on the planet Earth. He can play 1,247 singles in a minute. Just unreal. Brilliant guy. He was the I think he was first chair jazz drummer at the BSO, which is hilarious because he's like the fastest metal drummer. He played for Extreme for years and years, with like Nuno, and like it's really funny the mediums that he like walked through in life and like to become just a super great person to sit in a room and chat with, but to be like a very scientific, engineer-minded person. it translated to the drums super well. I mean, the dude's a machine, like literally. So, and he works himself, like that. He trains like that. You know, he's playing drums and he's taking creatine so that he could fire his fast switch a little better for longer. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I can.
How many grams?
Dude,
How many grams of
5 a day.
creatine?
He's all on point. And that's, you know, dude, that's what I do too. I do 5 a day.
Okay.
I don't go too hard. I do standard monohydrate.
You're not doing 20?
No, I don't do 20.
20
Man,
grams of monohydrate,
it's
pooping
just
yourself?
hard. My kidneys are hurting.
Incontinence
No, man,
maxing.
I like 5 a day and I eat red meat, so I'm getting plenty, and you know, it works for me too. You know, I'm not I wouldn't say I'm struggling in the speed department. I'm all right. I can hold it down for a little while.
Yeah.
So like it's
Yeah, well, that's funny. Well, let me
Sure,
interrupt you real quick because I think that's a funny point to go off of is for most people, and I think this is true for most musicians, and this is an idea that I'm fairly certain about, is like if you want to rock at like a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 level and just be able to rock, you only need to be at like a 2 or 3 out of 10 on musicianship. Right? Like you don't really need to. Oh wait, trying to reconnect. Make sure you have stable internet
I got
connection.
you. I'm with
Can
you.
you hear
Yeah,
me?
I'm with
Am
you.
I back? Am I back? Did I?
No, you were there the whole time. We're good.
Okay, but I was gonna say for most things, like, dude, I've given a lot of guitar lessons, and guess what? You just need to know how to play a power chord at like 120 BPM for the most part. Like, that's most of it, dude. Like, literally. And some of my favorite records and favorite songs, if I had to go and look at like my favorite stuff, I'm like, most of it's not that fast. Most of it, you know, I love Frank Zappa. I'm a huge
Same.
Zappa fan, and I love the band UK. Alan Holdsworth was like the guitarist on their first record. They only did like 2 records, but like just like I'm a nerd. Okay, I'm studying engineering. I'm in like a master's for engineering, right?
Nice.
You know, and so like exactly like you're saying, right? But it's not my limiting factor.
Right.
You know, I've stopped working on getting faster and more technical. I can shred I can play anything Nuno or Van Halen has ever written. I can play it. I can get it like tight and good within a week. Like just casually, not like every day, like, oh my God, I got this. I'm just like, no, just like practice it. I would say I'm at the level of probably like Alex Lifeson from Rush. That's kind of like my type of vibe. I kind of like that. Maybe Tony Iommi. Like that's a kind of little bit of Brian May when it comes to like the guitar tone. I like that kind of zone.
Yeah.
And I like playing like C standard, you know. But most of the stuff, if I'm listening to like System of a Down, I'm just like, okay, do you know how to use one finger in drop tuning to chugga? That's not that technical.
No.
That takes, you know.
But it's awesome.
But so my point is, it's awesome. It's awesome. Well, because I don't think the labor theory of value is right. Just because something's more work doesn't mean it's better.
No,
you know what I mean?
Dude, there was a guy. It's funny. So, he's known as laid back country picker. He opened up for Tyler Childers a lot. His name's Chico. He was actually a buddy of mine, really close friend of mine, Thaddeus Blevins. He's a podcaster. He was his high school or middle school history teacher, but he has this character. He opens for Tyler from time to time, and it's like a vaudeville country act, you know, type of thing, laid back country picker. Well, he listened to some early recordings that I had made as like a teenager along with Thaddeus, and he said, "Y'all, this sounds like musical masturbation." Because we were so concerned with being really good technically. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was playing 30-second notes doubles on my kicks at 1:30, and I was like, oh, this is fucking sweet. And like, man, I was so concerned with speed. I had gotten up to 1,500 double strokes, per minute on my kicks. And I was like, I like going into Berkeley, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm good because I'm fast. And I'm like, no, like be good because you're good. Like make creative shit. It's great if you can throw that stuff in and it serves the music. But if you're just wanking off, to be wanking off to make the song good, oftentimes you just shit on the song. So like there's the technical abilities can complement the artistry. Sometimes, however, and especially a lot of my early recordings, I had a band in Austin named Component. It was just me jerking off, or trying to be like, look at one-handed rolls, man, and like trying to be like. I liked progressive stuff. I love progressive music. I love Dream Theater. I love Tool. I enjoy
Yeah.
I enjoy the technical elements. Danny Carey's a god. Like Mike Portnoy, Mike Mangini, gods. Like wonderful players.
Oh, yeah.
John Petrucci is one of the most phenomenal motherfuckers that's ever walked the face of the earth. But
Yep. No, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. I will tell you, I'm not that good. But also, I'm not like when I go, what is the guitar playing that gets me the most like jazzed up or hits me hardest in my heart? It's not John Petrucci, and I love it. But I'll take a sloppy like solo from an '80s shredder. You know what I mean? Over like. And it's just personal preference, but that's the whole point of the show is like I don't think people think they need to get to this level, and I think once you get basic like competency, like learning how to say hello, goodbye, donde está el baño, like once you know basic words, the music equivalent of that on your instrument, the limiting factor is your ability to tell a story and connect with people. That's the limiting factor. The podcast, the marketing, this is the limiting factor for everyone. And they're all focused on every course is trying to teach you how to get better at guitar. It's like, no, I want to start a course eventually where it's minimally viable guitar, minimally viable drums, minimally viable bass, the minimum amount of singing you need to be able to do to write a song, and then minimal number of songs you need as a record before you start podcasting and trying to get people or like trying to network, and then like trying to max out how to get to people, because that's your constraint, that's your bottleneck. If you got a pipe here, it's this tiny little spot, and then it goes huge. Your musical capacity is huge. You could do tons of stuff, but you got this tiny little choke point. It's called no one knows about you, cares about you, or wants to listen to any of the other stuff, and they never will because if they don't click, they don't watch, they don't listen. If they don't click, they don't listen, right? And so it's like it's much easier to get them to click on YouTube with a thumbnail than it is on Spotify. I have these videos and these podcasts on Spotify with the same thumbnails on YouTube, and guess how many people click? None.
Yeah.
Big fat zero, maybe one, maybe two. It's their sister and the brother of the guest, right? Like, it could be negative for all I care, because it's demoralizing when you scream into the void and you hear nothing back.
Yeah.
Versus you make a clickbait YouTube video with Rick Beato saying Rick Beato's wrong because you're like watching this video and you're going to your brother, you're like, I like what he's saying, but he's got some of these points just totally he just doesn't know. And so someone should tell him. And then he's like, why don't you just make a video? I was like, that's a good idea. I'll make a video. And then boom, instantly you get feedback. And so that's where I'm like, eventually I'd want to make a course where it's like maybe like $5 a month, where it's like we just license the first 4% of a drum course that someone sells, right? And just be like, hey, can we just license the first like 4 lessons of a drum and a guitar and just put it all there, and then be like, okay, now the next thing is like, maybe pay like $15 a month or $10 a month, and we all hop on weekly calls, and everyone who's like podcasting and doing videos and making music, and we just go one person by person and go, okay, what are you working on this week, this month, and who do you need help from this week? Who do you need someone help with? I need help with production, or I need help with recording.
Dude,
it's like, let's come together.
That's really okay.
Just everyone,
I love that.
That's my idea.
That's a great idea. That's a brilliant idea. Like, so I've like thought many times, like, all right, do I need to just go buy a building and set up a studio in there and just try to have people like come into a production studio and like do a production studio? Like, because that's exactly right. Like, hey,
I think yes and.
Okay.
I think you could do it. My idea is do what Joe Rogan did in Austin, where it's like build a club where people know killers are going to be there. Like, Dave Grohl might come in and play like a set,
that would be killer.
But also you're going to have the local people. And you're going to have people who are on tour. Like Black Flag plays the fucking House of Blues in San Diego, and they'll just be like, and I'm like, wait a minute, like I can open for Black Flag, but also it's like if I open for Black Flag, it's almost like a fart in the wind. No one even cares because like there's no cross-pollination. There's no sense of community. I'm like, how about we get like a building, we get a city, we say everyone move here physically, right? We have a recording studio. We just have people who are like, let's just get the community
Yep.
going. Let's get energy, because that's going to benefit
Yes.
everyone. That's going to benefit everyone.
That's right. That's totally right.
Because ultimately, I'm a fan of rock music. I want people to make music. I don't think I'm the best, but also, even if I am the best, being surprised by something because I wasn't the one making it and hearing like, oh, this is really good. Even if I'm egotistical and I think, I can make 10 out of 10 music and everyone else can only make 9 out of 10, or I could go up to 11.
Yeah.
But Spinal Tap. Anyways, but no, but like even then, you still want music from other people. So like, yes, what were you thinking? You were thinking you're doing like make a building or something. I was thinking I maybe my goal would be like eventually go to Austin because there's comedians there, so I could cross pollinate. Sure. And because that's something, I listen to Joe Rogan a lot, and one of the things he said is the magic that Hollywood had was you had rock stars, actors, and comedians all hanging out together and showing up at each other's stuff. And so then people would be like, oh, did you see Axl Rose was at the Comedy Store? And then do you see, oh my God, Brad Pitt was at the Guns N' Roses show at friggin' the Whiskey, right? And it's just like, what if you could recreate that? But then again, I've never been to Austin, but I'm like, oh, maybe I should move there.
Hey, it's a cool spot. Like Austin's a cool spot, man. Like,
yeah.
I haven't been in many years, so it's been more than 5. It's been more than 5 years. I know that Asheville is really cool. Asheville, North Carolina. It's a little hipstery, for sure. But I mean, whatever. I got the channels. Whatever. Let's do it. But like, there's a lot of vinyl stores in Asheville. There's a lot of musicians in Asheville. I think that's becoming like that's where Moog manufactures their shit is in Asheville. And so like that rock world is there. The music, interest is there. I think that might be a new hip city.
Yeah.
It's pretty small, and it kind of has to be because it's surrounded by just a mountain range. Appalachia is just it surrounds that city. So the city itself, I don't think there's 500,000 people there. I really don't think so. But I think it's going to be one of the new hip spots, and we'll see. The next 10 years will let us know. But when I was in Austin, it was definitely on the come up. When I moved from Austin back to South Carolina, I think there was 150 new residents daily coming in, and I think it's probably more now since Rogan has gotten there. So that's certainly cool. Like I remember like the Mothership's Club. I remember it before it was the Mothership, when it was the Ritz, building. I played on 6th Street every fucking night. Like I was there, I had a residency gig at the Blind Pig. I had a residency gig at the Dizzy Rooster. Like, it's a happening city, man. It's a really cool place. Thirsty Thursdays at the Thirsty Nickel was pretty dope. That was a nice little bar. Like every single bar has a stage. They want live music. Austin calls itself the live music capital of the world. Now, again, a lot of this stuff is just cover music, but it is a place where gigging musicians can go and play. But it doesn't seem to produce a ton of, like worldwide, world known musicians, that, are making like the popular stuff, because it's a blues rock city. And so it's a place where you might stumble onto something like the Black Keys, but it doesn't seem to elevate outside of that city, very often. But God, whatever, maybe it's due. Seattle had its time in the 90s. Perhaps Austin's about to sprout. Maybe it's just going to be comedians. Maybe Asheville will be the place. Maybe, hell, who knows? Maybe it's something we're not sure about yet.
Well, maybe it's multiple places. Could be. And so I guess this is where I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Is like, do you think there's an advantage to having a physical component, that proximity, right? Because I guess that's kind of the advantage I'm thinking about Austin. It's just because like initially trying to get ingratiated into the podcast world, get established into cohorts of existing people. Like you've either got LA, New York, or Austin, and like LA is like expensive, and so is New York.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, how about Austin, right? And but I feel like LA and New York have got this more corporate kind of air to them, and they're just a little bit more Yeah, they're just more like, I don't know, just like kind of
Yeah.
industry and just very like, I feel like that's the old paradigm. I don't feel like people resonate with that, and so I feel like you're just better off with going into the future. But yeah, maybe it's Asheville, maybe it's Austin. Do you think the physical component, right, is how much of a factor do you think that's going to be in bridging together the world of rock to come, entering from pre-podcast into the podcast era?
So I do feel as if the physical component
Yeah.
matters. I do think that matters. Uh, though I think a lot of the physical spaces that people like inhabit are on the internet. Like there are a lot of nice podcast sets. You know what I'm saying? It's like you
Yeah.
build the environment that the chronically online people come to, and like you
Yep.
bind them to a physical place. Like this is my studio. You know, if you look at my Instagram, you see me in my studio. This is where I fucking work. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what my daily life looks like. It's a little
Yep.
messy. I'm making stuff. You know, it's like so I welcome people into this environment, and I think that's the physical environment. Yes, if you had like a proximity to actors and comedians and other musicians and just like directors,
Yeah.
yes, that would behoove you. I think more creative juices will flow. I think that's a good spot, or a good place to be, psychologically, is around other creatives. That can be good. But if it's
Yeah.
driving you into oblivion monetarily to be there, then it'll kill your
Yeah.
creativity
Yeah.
too, or it can. So,
Yeah.
like, yes, the physical place does matter, but I think so much of music isn't consumed live. It's consumed, you know, post mix and master. Like it's consumed via headphones, it's
Yep.
consumed via earbuds while you work out or whatever. And podcasts are just the same. Like you get accustomed to you staring at your damn screen, and that physical place that, the Joe Rogan experience, in his studio
Yep.
is like, it feels like a place that you've been before. I've never been, but I feel like I've been,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. Um, so I think that's a an element. If you build an aesthetically pleasing environment around you, one that's good for the creative juice in you, it kind of becomes an extension of your overall being. And if you put that on camera, then that physical environment is what lives inside of the person that tunes in. So they don't necessarily have to go, but yeah, physical does matter. Like it has to be thought through. And as long as people are willing to show up and be there in person, like if you were to come here and be here in this studio, I feel like that gives people more of a desire to tune in. I think that's why Rick Beato's had so much damn success in his
Yep.
studios, because people show up and sit in the room with him. And the podcast, like we're doing right now, like we have to do it over Riverside. It's fine. It's good.
Yep.
I think it would be even cooler if you were here or I were there. And so
Exactly.
as long as, if we could build a community that is sharing sets, going back and forth between sets. Like, yes, that's easier if you're like in LA and there's
Yeah.
10 buildings with 100 sets each in them, and you can just walk back and forth. It's easier. But if we could
Yeah.
manage like a network that's not too difficult, you could fly around. Like I could definitely fly to you and sit down with you. Like it could happen. If there's
Yeah.
sponsorships, and if Dr. Squatch is going to give you money, or whatever, to help
Yep.
you fund this type of thing, to fund the content, then man, there's
Yeah.
nothing that's stopping us from like flying around a little bit, getting in the rooms with each other, and like you were saying, starting up courses where you're selling $5 access, or $10 a month access, and saying like, hey,
Yeah.
if y'all want to talk to Bear about compressors and shit, like he's available from like 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Boom.
and he'll go at it with you. individually, man, it's like personal training. I mean, I own the gym. I am a personal trainer. You buy out the hour. I'm there with you, and we work through it. Like, if you want to go over like music theory or scales or whatever, like that's more my field. I enjoy music theory. I like teaching music theory. I enjoy music theory teaching much more than I enjoy instrument teaching. Like, I don't really want to show you how to do a drum groove. Like, do you feel the motherfucker or not? Like, that's kind of, it's like, it's tough for me. Like, I'm like, this is an eighth note, you know, like, I don't want you to think about eighth notes. Like, can you play the thing? Is it in your, is it in your butthole? Like, is it there? Can you do it? Like, and so, like, but if people are like, listen, man, I want to change key and I'm not like sure how to do that, my song sucks in the bridge and I need to I need to move out of like D Dorian to somewhere else. Like, I want to talk to you about that, nerd the fuck out. Like, I want to do that, and like.
And that's what I want to help with. That's what I want help with, by the way. That's exactly why this is perfect. And this is my whole thesis with the internet stuff, like we're talking about, is that there are people who want to do the thing, and there are things that you want to do that you can do, and everyone could be doing those things instead. So we just got to make it start happening. Because once we've got like, you know, something going, it's like boom. Because once I've got like I did the math. I was like, if I can start getting 20,000 views an episode on the podcast, and that was assuming hour-long episodes, I have no problem twice a week. I can do 3 hours, and then the numbers go way down. They go 1/3, and so it's like I could do daily. I don't care. Anyways, but that's the thing is like, well, I kind of realized there's like, okay, once this starts cooking, I can get sponsors and I can make $100,000 a year doing this. And then it's like, oh, I don't really care about working an engineering job if I can do this.
That's right.
Because to scale from where I'm at to doubling it, to go from $100,000 a year to $200,000 is not that long, man. Especially compared to like working a traditional job and trying to get a raise. Like, no, and I don't even want to do the traditional job as much. Like, I have no problem doing stuff. I'm a super genius. I'm really good at math and, you know, all these things. But come on, there's infinite in me, and you can replace me with ChatGPT. ChatGPT's not bringing back rock. Okay? ChatGPT's not doing it. Literally, think about it. We're going to be in the freaking history books. They're going to flip to Bear Knox and Connor O'Farrell, and it's going to be like, yeah, these guys brought back this thing from the brink of extinction, and it's lying dormant. It's healthy, but it's just like, it's going to be this, and it's so crazy to think. It's like, but it is, though. It is, though, because I got views on the YouTube video, and you're here, so the thing works.
It did work. It did work.
But this is it. What the hell?
Yeah, well, yeah, man. Like, listen, when I saw that video, like, it's so funny because the clickbait worked. All right, you had Rick fucking Beato with a big old wrong on it. I was like, all right. So, and like the fact that you were just willing to hit record and have a conversation with the void. I needed that. Like, I got a one-sided conversation that day from you, and like, it was awesome. I had just liked listening to you. And dude, I saw in the comments people were like, "Oh man, you script shit out and it's too all over the place and all that shit." And it's like, okay, that's probably true for those people, but for me, like, man, that's how divergent thought works, brother. Like, creative shit just blows all over the place, and it's like, well, it works like that up here, so it worked like that with you and me. I was like, oh yeah, like I really felt what you were saying, and I just agree with it. I agree with it. I understand that there are challenges in the way. I feel like they can be overcome. They will be overcome, but it takes you, it takes me, it takes time and energy and an ability to articulate things, an ability to not be afraid of just being who the hell you are in front of the void. Like, fucking hey, Void, like, I'll stare into you. I'll look into the abyss. It'll look back. We'll be friends. Let's do it. Like, that is, like, that is going to be the new discovery mechanism. And, like, I'm not sure, which is excellent. Like, it's awesome that I'm not sure. I'm not sure how all the pieces and parts are going to bootstrap up. I'm not sure about the physical locations. Like, I have certain concepts in my mind. I understand that having like studio locations and that temporal place will allow for a deeper connection with an audience. Even if they can't show up there, like they can't go and buy a ticket. It's not like the House of Blues, but, you know, being in the room with Connor, eventually, like, that sits in with you. Like, yeah, it feels like I'm sitting across the table from Joe Rogan because, like, it's filmed that way. It's just, you know, it feels like that, and that's what makes it special. And, you know, when you have interesting things to say other than, you know, particularly, one time I was on tour and I got really fucked up. And there was cocaine in the bathroom. Like,
oh my God, shoot me. I don't want to hear it. That's the thing that's insane too, is the old breed of rock stars don't make for good podcasters.
I'm not in.
And so this is the paradox too, is like, you would think I want to get the old rock stars on because the clout's going to bring people. But if anything, I should be taking shots at and making videos reactioning, clickbaiting people who are YouTubers with YouTube audiences, not music audiences, which is insane that's the way it's going to have to kickstart. Once it's going and I'm like, you know, I'm a person people can clickbait. Oh, I can't wait for the day. The downfall of Connor O'Farrell. I watched all of the rock show with Connor O'Farrell, so you don't have to. Oh my God.
That'd be awesome.
8-hour dissertation on what is it? The downfall of Connor O'Farrell, and it's got on the thumbnail with like dark in the background, and it's 8 hours and 18 seconds. Oh,
yeah,
come
that's gonna be a good day, brother.
300 million
That's
views.
Gonna be a good day, brother.
It's gonna be me on a burner account. It's gonna be me on a burner account, and I'm gonna be wearing a mask the whole time with a voice changer, and at the end, I'm gonna take it off.
Man, yeah, it's, you know, it's funny that these things are like we've saturated ourselves into like that style of guerrilla marketing. Like, yeah, you're right. It will be totally you on a burner account, like, and it will work.
It will. Oh my God, I'm gonna love
like
it.
And that's funny. And like I'm really like I'm hoping, man, that we can find some kind of musical education, musical entertainment, like, hey, do you like this type of art? It's like, it's what the new record label is going to become. It's not such and such records.
Yeah.
It's hey, this is a collection of artists. Like, there's bands, what have you. They all have podcasts. They all have different interests. They all have different a different strata of skills. And across many platforms, we all have different and unique stories. But if you're going to come and sign with the label and, you know, record in the label's studio and like record the label's podcast studio, like, we'll need various locations throughout the U.S. that these artists travel to, like, because imagine a live performance here in this studio. Cool. That's one. Maybe you set one up in Austin. I'll fly and play there. That's totally cool. That's another physical location owned by said label. I mean, like, I think that is going to be our way forward for recognition. And once you get groups of artists together that feel like a playlist, you know, anyway, like, that's how labels used to work. And in this new media world, nobody's grabbed it yet, except for perhaps you, my friend. And I hope, fuck. God, why does that work? It does. Please, that's your thumbnail. That's gotta be your thumbnail, dude. Like,
I'm trying to learn how to do the Jim Carrey faces. I feel like. So if I have to write down role models, I would say Steve Martin. I would say Jim Carrey. And these are important things. But how does a Sufi? I messed it up. How does a silly little goofy little guy like me make it big in today's world of the internet? Oh my
well,
god! But how do I make it happen? And yeah, so you're saying okay, so the physical instantiations of the podcast and this connection happening in physical places, and kind of the scene develops, and then you've got a bunch of artists who are all kind of that will already fit on that playlist together. And so my kind of concept was maybe this is the model. You have the baseline, like $5 a month, like get the minimum viable of each of these things. And then the $10 a month or $15 a month, or maybe you make it 50, where like everyone hops on a weekly call and we're just like, what are you doing this week? Who do you need help
yep.
from? Who do you need to get on a call with? And when do you want to get it done? And like just have like a little checklist of like 4 things of expectations for a weekly project, and just announce who you need, and okay, coordinate with them, get back to them by this time, boom. Like let's just get like stuff done for people. And then I think the next thing would be you essentially that thing with the call, you could call that like an incubator, right? And so the idea would be like you would have you would get people who already have existing platforms. Like there's a chick who is the head of rock at Spotify for a while, Alison Hagendorf. I think she left. But she'll have on like Maynard from Tool and like all these big famous people. And she does it in a very corporate style because she came from like MTV and whatnot. And she's like, she's like a mom. She's like an adult. She's not a Zoomer like me, right? And so, but she'll do it in this very way. But she'll have access to these big guests and get like views and stuff, even if it's for me a less engaging style than something like this or like a Joe Rogan or something like that, right? But the idea would be like, okay, once I'm big and I'm getting like 300,000 followers or 1 million followers, and you get like me, you get Rick Beato, you get a bunch of these people, and you'd be like, okay, we all get like 10% of the equity of this company or whatever, right? And each time someone's like really good and we're like, oh my God, this person's gotten to a really good point, you can just be like, okay, well, I'll have them on. And the incentive is for everyone who likes it to have them on and show them to their audience. And then if people see, oh my God, this person blew up their success story from the incubator program, let me just go there. And so then all the new people who sign up, they get whatever percent. Or maybe you set it up not equity, but it's commissions, right? Affiliate code. And you say, hey, artist, I'll have you come on if you promote using my affiliate code, or tell people to sign up, and maybe you see how many people sign up, like, I don't know, but just something like that, where it's like, and I was thinking you could call it like Roxford University instead of Oxford. And I was like, I don't know. I should. Oh, wait, this is on the internet. Copyright. I said it. The idea, intellectual property.
Nice.
I own it now.
Good job.
Boom. I posted it. Boom. I said that out loud. I'm like, but no one's going to take your idea because everyone else is too lazy. And that's the funny thing is, like, I watched a bunch of the like kind of like startup people and entrepreneurship people, and they'd all just be like, you don't be worried about like telling people your idea, because no one's going to steal your idea, because they're going to want to steal it once it's already up and running.
Yeah.
But no one gives a crap when you've got a good idea.
No, you can tell. You're
going to be screaming into the void to get it to work.
That's right. You lay it out right in front of anybody you want to, unless it was their idea to begin with. Most of the time, they're out. Like that. It's just not. It's not a big concern to just unleash your ideas. I mean, man, I'm sitting here talking to you about like, building purchases and shit. Like that's hard. It's hard to do that. It's hard to bootstrap your way even up to do that. So like, ideas are.
Well, how'd you build your gym? How'd you build that location? What was that process?
Oh, man. So it existed prior to me. The previous owner was looking to get out of the gym business, moving into another business, and he was, the clientele had dropped down low enough where he was like, I don't think it's worth it for me anymore, and so he allowed me to finance it through him, which was great. So it took me a few years of just not making money. I mean, I survived on less than 20 grand. I mean, I ate cheese sandwiches, dude. I mean, I lived the rock star life to just be like a regular brick and mortar store owner. You know what I mean? It was like, I I took the sweet time of eating shit to like, get it to function. But after a few years, like turns out I like started to make a profit. Like that was great. Like I had to lease a bunch of new equipment when I first took over because a lot of the equipment was older. So I had to do like I think it was 70 grand worth of gear. I had to lease to own that. Had to pay off the other gear that I purchased from the prior owner and the business itself. And so just it's more than a six-figure endeavor. You have to eat that debt and just say, like, if you can't get it financed or, like, without the owner financing, it wouldn't have happened for me. You know what I mean? Like, he gave me an opportunity. I went to work for him as his head trainer, and he said, do you want to buy this from me? And he gave me the opportunity to do that. So that was a wonderful gift from him to finance it for me. And it took me almost 5 years to pay it all off, just living like a pauper. You know what I mean? Just really – I didn't record for those 4 years. I mean, I kept in practice and I didn't have the money to build my studio. I had to get profitable in my gym business to fund building my studio and like just buying nice mics and like sound treating. I mean, I had to build floating floors and like had to build floating walls, like rubber padded, walls within walls. I had to learn a lot of that shit too. And so like the gym process, any business process, man, if you're a musician, and you create music and you are trying to put it out into the world and sell it as a product, like you're a small business owner. Get acquainted with those skills. They are hard, but you got to show up every fucking day. It's like bodybuilding, dude. Like eat the damn food, lift the damn weights, show up every single time. Like there's no call out of work. I have a 24-hour facility. You want to reach me, you text me, I show up. Like that's that. You know what I mean? And I worked 16 hours a day for 2 years. I slept there. It was like that was what was required to pay off the debts in a hurry and get it to a place where it would be buoyant. And once we got there, started to turn a profit, paid everything off, and then I had a livable wage, and I was like, okay, thank God, because businesses fail within the first 3 years, like 50% of the time, and they fail within the first 5 years, like 90% of the time. So to be in year 8, I'm just like, you never know. You're like one COVID away from going out of business, but it's like, COVID damn near killed me, by the way. They came and shut my ass down and they were like, no one can come in here. Like that was interesting to try to balance that. But like small business practices, man, like just trying to interface with your customer. I made that gym work with Instagram posts. I filmed like 300 Instagram posts on my, the personal Instagram account. Where I'm just talking head, like filming myself saying like, hey, simple principles, right? Like, here's how you do squats. Here's how you do like some, like a cobra pose, to stretch your back. Like, here's how to do a chin up. Here's a bunch of data on neurochemistry. Like, here's how triceps work, blah, 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 blah. Like, and I would just walk around the block, like getting my mile in, and talk to the camera and then put it on Instagram. And I had to, because at the time you could only do a minute. So I had to get super complex shit, like scripted down to 59 seconds and post it. You know what I mean? And so, that got me over just being a goofy looking asshole talking to a camera. It's like, okay, we'll just do it. Because otherwise I'm going to fail. Like my business is going to fail. And so like I made as many talking head videos as I could. And people started showing up and they were like, hey, it seems like you're not an idiot. Could you train me? And I'm like, yeah, let's go, man. And like, that's, you develop a clientele base, you develop, 20, 25 people that are willing to pay you, between $250 and $400 a month for personal training. And it's like, that's a salary outside of standard gym memberships. Like, it's not like you get to be loaded with just the personal training salary, but like you can survive on it really
Yeah.
well. And it's like, don't tell me as a musician, like it's impossible to get 1,000 people or 5,000 people to give you $3. Like, if I can get somebody to like talk to them while they squat to give me $350, then you can totally convince somebody to say, hey man, I've listened to your songs a lot this month and they made me not want to fucking die. Thank you. Here's $3.
Yeah.
Like, dude, every chance I get, I send money to Jerry Gaskell, like from King's X, because that dude's a fucking hero to me. Like he's got a PayPal. I just send $5. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've listened to every damn.
What about Doug?
Dude, Doug is.
Give him some love. Give him some money.
Dude, I'm hoping Jerry shared. You know what I mean? Like
at the picnic, at the Doug picnic,
dude. Okay, so all right. To loop back to a little earlier when you're talking about the fucking wonders of John Petrucci, my man Ty Tabor is my favorite guitar player ever. The end. Ever. Ooh. I love Ty Tabor so much. That fucking guy tickles my soul. I don't know what it is, man.
Give me a dollar.
Dude, Dogman is that's such a great album.
Dude.
God bless America. That is a
treadmill album. That's a great treadmill album. Dude, on the treadmill, I don't give a fuck. Everyone's like, oh, I'm so serious. I'm like, bro, I'm dancing. They're like, they think you're gay. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Dude.
She'll find out I'm not gay, you know what I mean? Anyways, but yeah, and people were like, "Oh, you're flamboyant." People be like from high school, they'd be like, "Oh, I thought you were gay," or whatever, because I did like musical theater and I did like whatever. I'm sitting here like, bro, you know, there's mostly chicks there, and the band kids. One time at band camp for a reason, right? You don't get groupies without being on stage,
God knows.
and you don't get an audience on stage without attention. That's the funny thing too, is people go, dating apps don't work. I go, no, they do. If you've played a bunch of gigs there and your band's doing well, because then the chicks see you at the gigs and then you don't find out till later that they were at the show, but they match with you on Tinder and they flirt with you and they go on a date with you. And then after you've been sleeping with them for a while, you find out, oh, wait, they saw you at a bunch of shows first. And then when you stop gigging, you stop getting matches on Tinder.
Dude.
Even if you're more jacked and you're more lean and you have more money. Even if it's the status,
man, what
baby.
is
I'm
like?
a rock
What, yeah, you are. What is the Tinder world like, dude? So Connor, how old are you? You 20, early 20s? 22. Rock and roll, dude. Way to be, dude. You're fucking doing awesome. You're doing fucking awesome, by the way. 22.
Thank you.
Killing it. So
thank you.
I'm 36. Dude.
Hey, that's not bad at all.
Millennial.
You're 36. Holy shit, you're not old. That's fucking great.
So,
dude, no, but so many people are fucking old as shit, and you're like, you feel bad. Like, my parents are like almost 60, and they're like, okay, like finally time to start doing my next chapter in my life. I got enough money that I can like retire and do stuff. And you're just like, huh? But you're
man, like,
but you're barely older than
man.
me.
So like 36, like. Carl Jung said life actually starts at 40. I fucking believe it. Like there's something like everything up to that point is just research. That's the quote. Life begins at 40. Everything up to then is research. And like I got a couple of years of research left, so I'm just going hard, brother. Like I'm just reading, like just doing it. But like it's where you're at is you're definitely running. You're on the ground running. Like that's what I was doing at 22, man. I was on the ground running. That's what you have to do.
I think my brain is like mean. Like it doesn't let me, like it just constantly is like, when are you gonna start doing the rock thing? Because I'm so terrified of like getting a job and hating it and you're like, oh no.
Same.
And I'm like, I know I can bring back rock and roll.
You can.
And I know that's why I'm put here. It's my destiny. I'm Lisan Al-Gaib. Lisan Al-Gaib! I'm freaking Timothy Chalamet, except not a king. If anything, I'm at like 15% body fat. 16% is what I believe. I'm sitting here, but don't worry. I can bench, I can squat, I can deadlift
Nice.
a lot. So it's
Nice.
okay that I'm on
That's
the
right.
bulk. It's
Good.
okay that I have to flex to see the abs,
Hey,
kind
man.
of.
Hey, if you could see him, kind of,
rather
you're
than
rocking. Good.
being, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And it's just because I've been skipping cardio for a year. But and now I'm starting to do cardio again. It's good. It's good. It's good. No, I want to be able to do I'm 5'6", and I'm like, I want to be able to do 225 for like sets of
Fuck yeah.
5. I don't want to just do 225 once. I've done that
Nice. Good.
like 2 years in, and then but then I was really uneven with benching. I didn't really like it. Didn't really grow my chest that much. I was like, so I did a bunch of other stuff, machines, dips, but now I'm back at it. My buddy's friend, his dad is like got really good at powerlifting and like set records like for like the 40 plus division, like, and now he's in his 60s, but like he got into it in his 30s, and by his 40s was setting records. And I was like, okay. So this guy was like, let me show you how to do the powerlifting stuff, because I just went in and I was like, I want to be jacked. I want to like get muscle hypertrophy. I want the size. I want the peak of the bicep.
That's a good Arnold, dude. That's a good Arnold.
You need to get the let's do the lats real quick.
It's good lats, bruh. That's good lats.
We have width. We've acquired width, and that's pretty much it. No, but as I'm working on the chest, you can see up here.
Yeah, you got some good uppers, man.
My right side's my bigger side, though. This is my left. Here we go. Not as it's still, I'm pretty jacked.
I'm digging, man. You look good.
But I got the body fat high, so no one else knows but me, right? But in a shirt, you look big, right? Like especially.
Yeah, dude, you got some wings on you, dude. You got some wings.
Boom. Flap, 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 flap. And so that's the thing I'm trying to make too, is that you need the rock star. It's a 2-part equation. Star is the media, it's the marketing, it's that whole part. Everyone's got the rock down, minimally viable rock, but then it's the star part of the equation. And part of that is be in shape.
Yeah, that's real.
Be pleasing to look at. People will subconsciously be nicer to you if you're more attractive. You're just better looking. So it's just like, duh. And same like if you smell better, like IRL, like if you smell like shit, okay, no one's talk to you. But if you're well dressed, you're in shape, and you smell great, you don't have bad breath, you're not like and everyone's like, ew, don't talk to that guy, he smells like shit, and he just does he just does that at you, and you're just like, dude, get the fuck away from me. And so it's just, no, but like I'm writing now, I'm just writing out like 100 YouTube thumbnails and title combinations, and one of them, let's see, can I pull it up? Yeah, let me pull it up. Stalling till I scroll down. Here we
nice
go.
filler.
We've scrolled down. Okay, so what was it? I had one. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. Let's see, Rockstar. Basically, let's see. Photo of fat Vince Neil versus sexy Vince Neil. Other rock stars on the left with a red background, and fit versions on the right with a green background. Gross versus hot. Be attractive as a rock star. Basic looks maxing for rock stars. Under, in parentheses, less than 1 hour per week. Or here we go. How to be a rock star, not a Lizzo-tastrophe. I was just like brainstorming these, but there's gotta. I want to just be like, here is how to train to get a rock star. I'm just like, there's some sort of clickbait thing. It's like, you don't want to be this Vince Neil. You want to be this Vince Neil. You don't want to be that version of Danzig. You want to be that version of Danzig. You don't want to be like, and it's called lift weights, do basic cardio. Right. Like, even I know it's like people are like, don't do cardio after your weight, separate it by at least 8 hours to not have it in effect. That's if you want to be a pro bodybuilder. If I want to just not be fat, I'm like, I can do, you know what I mean? I'm like, I can do push-pull legs, you know, or for me, in my case, I'll do like push, pull, push, legs, push, because I'm trying to grow my chest and shoulders. I don't care about the rest of it. I need my shoulders to be big, so I get that V-taper. I need that upper shelf, you know, I need the upper chest, you know, we're trying to get that. But here's the thing. Oh, my back, my biceps, they're big enough. I don't care. My legs, quads of gods, okay? we're in the squat doing one plate and like dying after 4 reps. Okay, quads of gods. No, I don't even know. I've just recently started squatting because I was just like leg press, like I was just machines. Because I'm all uneven, and I didn't want to have to learn the skill of squat, bench, and deadlift. I didn't want it to like have skill being a limiting factor. I just wanted to get jacked. I just wanted people to be like, holy shit, you're jacked. I regret everything I said negative about you because you're 5'6", but you're jacked, right? And you know, and that's the funny thing. That's the funny thing, though. I will tell you, status has, when it comes to dating and it comes to attraction and things like that, just being on stage in front of a crowd who's like dying for it is, even if it's a crowd, and here's the thing too, crowds, it's all density, right? It doesn't matter. We've played shows, we played in my band, 250 person show, but in a 300 person venue was the worst flop of our life because no one's close together. They're all standing.
Yeah.
Versus 30 person garage, 20 person garage, but 20 person garage, 35 people flooding out, waiting outside, trying to like pour in.
Yeah.
Bro.
That's true.
Bro. So that's what we need. We need the star part. People don't realize this. The rock, not the problem. Google it. Star is the real work. Star's real work. I'm telling you. Because that's the thing, too. I found a guy who, like, a while ago, I was like, oh, this guy is like Exor, EXOR, I think so, music. But he would do all these videos where he's like, here's how to make a song in the style of anyone. Rammstein, Nine Inch Nails, Olivia Rodrigo. Like, he would just give anyone. And I would be sitting there like, oh, let me just build an audience and attract them because I don't have money yet. And eventually that might make money. But in the meantime, that can be an attractive thing that people want to come on your show. So then I could be like, hey, do you want to like do all the mixing and stuff and like the production for the song? I'll just write it and send you stems, you know what I mean? And just send you the DI of my guitar and you reamp whatever you want. I'll give you 8 takes so you can pan them and do whatever the hell you want. But I'm just like, that was kind of my thought. It was like, there's people out here who know all of the things too. There's people who know how to do drums. What I started doing is I'll just go like, I wonder if that Huey Lewis song, I could take the drum beat from that and put it here. Does that go with my riff? And I just did that. And I'm like, oh, look, I can write a song now. And just like, I don't know how drums work. I didn't know you put like a kick on 1 and 3 apparently and a snare on 2 and 4. I'm not kidding. And then like 8th notes, maybe do the hi-hat closed. And then the chorus, you know, maybe do a crash. And maybe do some open hi-hats. I don't even know. I'm making things up here. I just learned. I just click the MIDI, and it's all like 100% like velocity, so it sounds robotic. And I'm like, I like drum machines. Who cares? I'm just like that. This is my level of knowledge and all this stuff. And I could sit here and spend I spent like last year. I was like working a lot and like trying to learn how to do music production and all this stuff. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I could probably just, instead of trying to like learn this off of YouTube, if I just got big enough within a year. Not only would I have the money to pay someone to just do it for me, I could probably just text Rick Beato and he could just tell me.
Yeah, that's true. He could tell you.
And it would take 2 seconds.
Yep.
Why would I spend hours being upset at myself, being like, you're a failure, all this negative stuff? Because it's like, there's nothing further from the truth. I'm the king. I'm the best of all time. How would I dare say that?
There's a market there. So, there's a market there where you open up access to a network like that. So if somebody says like, hey, I need to figure out how to write a drum part, or hey, could we talk about a drum part, or could I effectively, instead of giving you a percentage to be a producer, could I give you a flat rate producer fee monthly so I can call and check in with you and we can produce music and I'll give you whatever. That's one song. Let me give you $500. We talk about this song and then I keep all my damn rights and you don't like take 20%. None of that shit. Like that's
you're a consultant or something, whatever it is.
Feasible. And like, if say you and I, we form this nice relationship, we have these conversations, like you want to talk to people about building a rock star physique, dude, I am here for you. I cruise around at 9% body fat. Like, dude, I just don't eat like an asshole and I lift weights. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can get you there.
Maybe I'm at 13. I play it up because I'd rather tell people I'm fat and then have them be like,
no, you're not fucking fat. Get out of here.
I'd rather.
But like that, like
my brother on the other hand, no, he's tall and more jacked and stronger than me, but also he's at a higher body fat right now.
Oh yeah.
So I can make.
How tall is he?
This is the one thing I can take.
So,
He's a Greek
well,
god.
listen,
He's got the Chad Jizzle line, even at higher body fats. I hate this guy. He's Aryan. He's got blonde hair, blue
yeah,
eyes.
but
I'm
you play the,
yes.
you're the musician of the family, though, yeah?
He
Oh,
plays
fuck.
bass,
All right. Well, sorry, man.
and
Ah,
he's really
shit, he just
good.
wins. Ah, god damn it. Well, whatever.
No, but no one cares about bass. I play yo toco la guitarra y yo cancionar. I don't know. I sing.
That isn't
I'm
bad.
also good at Duolingo.
That isn't bad at all.
Mediocre
That
at
isn't bad at
Duolingo.
all. Hey, for a total honky, that was all right Spanish there. Like, that was
Sí.
so
Gracias, señor.
like, man. Yeah, I'm really interested to talk to you about a lot of this stuff, man. I know that I actually have to wrap up here in just a second, but I would love to do
God.
I
Oh
would
my
love to
God.
do like a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 with you, because like there's
Yeah.
man, there's a deep well from which we can draw. Like, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. The fact that I said fucking King's X or Jerry Gaskell and you went to Doug Pinnick means I really like you already. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool.
Trying to find. I was trying to contact Doug Pinnick, but you're like, some of these people. You're like, maybe I comment on their Instagram. You're like, maybe I email their like friggin' publicist. Like, I don't know. At the end of the day, you're like, what do I do? But that's my kind of my thing too. Is like, maybe I just make a bunch of videos about him and clickbait him because I
Yeah.
talk about him, and then I just get on other YouTubers. And then eventually it just gets big enough that then when I do want to email or reach out, it's like, oh, I've got 100,000
Well,
subscribers
yeah,
or
man,
whatever.
I hope
That they're just like, they take
I
it
hope that
seriously.
comes through really for you. And I mean, I believe that it will. It's a matter of
Yeah.
persistence. And like, again, this is your business. Like, you gotta do the work. We're gonna do the work.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure that you'll be able to get, the whole crew of King's X. Man, you just contact them enough. I bumped into I met Jerry and Doug backstage at a show they did in London, Kentucky, a couple of years back now, and like, dude, they're the nicest guys.
Wait, London or Kentucky? Make up your mind.
I swear
Which
to
was
God,
it?
same
No,
place.
okay.
So like, if you can get to guys like that and like really just get to musicians that aren't like the new rock star is like the dedicated artist that like is working on their craft and trying to make good music. Like, I understand that like that lifestyle, like the sex, drugs, rock and roll lifestyle, like it's still in vogue. It's not that it isn't being done by the likes of like any given famous rapper. It doesn't matter. Like, if you take like that Cardi B or like Drake category.
But Mr.
Like,
Bernox,
they do the
those
rock
people
star
are not
life.
naturally occurring phenomenon. They're not naturally occurring phenomenon in nature on the
No.
internet. They're not sprouting from the ground of the soil. They're plucked by
No.
the labels, and then the labels are funded by the CIA to promote, crime
Yeah.
and these things, such that
Honestly.
you can destabilize the nation. Seriously, come on. Woo!
God.
Come on, people.
I wish that were more of an Onion article than it actually is. Like, it's fucked up that that's like what you
Dude,
just
I
said
know,
was
right?
98% exactly right. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like,
I know.
we really do live in this fucking thing. And like, and sometimes you just like,
But that's the crazy thing is like, we can just pop up because we get views. We get views. We don't pose a real threat. I'm not out here to try and take away the CIA. Musk can try
I
and
just
do
want to
that.
talk
That's
about
on
chords
him.
and shit.
I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't
That's it.
care. You guys, give me money. Give me money. I like money. Like, I'm good with it. Like, just no, but like, I'm making rock music. I don't care. But no, I'm a loudmouth and I like saying things. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to like. And I think a lot of that stuff, like when it comes to things like that, I think over time, basically, I think things tend to work themselves out, and I don't need to be a martyr and try and like go solve the world's issues. Like, the thing I really give a shit about is rock. I'm like, I could give you a full dissertation on all my political beliefs. I don't want to talk politics because I'm right. I'm boring. I'm right about everything. No, but here's the thing: is like, even if I'm not, here's the thing: I'm 22. Do I think I know everything?
That's a good spot to be.
Have I changed my opinions before?
Even better.
Yes. Will I in the future? Yes. There's no way of me having all of the information. So am I going to go and like post 18,000 infographics on the internet? Will I have conversations? Yeah,
Yep.
sure. Like I'm trying to get on right now the head of the Libertarian Party, Angela McArdle, and she's helping like the Trump administration like appoint people. And like I'm just like, okay, I'll have her on to talk about thrash metal.
Yeah, please
I'm like,
do.
but that's the thing. I'm going to talk about thrash metal. It's because she's got 100,000 followers on X that it's good because the people who follow her, well, maybe they follow me. And then there's other people I want to get as guests who follow her. And if I get her on, then I can be, hey, Angela, can you text them? Can you text these people to get on my show? It's just like I'm just here cynically trying to promote rock music to the people of the world. I don't care about your cause. Even if I agree with it. But that's the whole point. Is I'm here for rock. I'm here for rock, and it's just like, how come there isn't anyone here who's like the advocate of rock? I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I'm short enough. I could be him. And so it's like I'm speak for the rock. I speak for the music. What the Lorax? And I did want to point out to you. Are you familiar with Greg Doucette?
Yeah.
You must be familiar with Greg Doucette because you own a gym.
Yep.
So I'm looking at Greg Doucette's content. And I'm like, honestly, that might just be the model. Daily, just pick a thing, figure out the clickbait, make the thumbnail, and just go off at the mouth and squawk like a parrot. Talk like this. And, you know, my voice is high enough anyways. My voice is high enough anyways. I can talk like that. But, what was I even saying?
That you're just fucking good. That you're just good at podcasting. No, man, like, this is a way to, like, to draw an audience, and I'm glad you're doing it. Like, you know, I really do. I want to get back with you. I want to talk more about just about the nuts and bolts of music, just about fucking what we listen to, why we listen to it. I want to talk to you about fitness. Like, this is great, man. I'm really glad that like I stumbled onto you, man. It's I'm glad you're posting shit. Keep it up. Like, this is good.
Dude, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad like you're a real human. And the fact that the first video I did that actually like got the people, we're having this conversation now. It's like, oh my God. Like, oh, thank God. Thank God there's other people.
Yeah.
There's real people.
Find the others.
We're not fucking crazy. Like, exactly. And that's the thing is like, this video, I'm going to put a thing on the top. I'm going to clickbait it. I'm thinking maybe the name of this video is like, I don't know, but the thing we say is we're figuring out how we're going to bring back rock and like all of this. Maybe that's the open loop. And we say by the end, you're going to know exactly what to do and you're going to know exactly where to find us. Right. So how about that? How about tell the people where can they find you?
You find me Bear Knox Music on all of your streaming platforms. Bear Knox Music on Instagram. Bear Knox Music on TikTok. Bear Knox Music on YouTube. BearKnoxMusic.com. Bear Knox Music. Burn that in your head. You'll find me. Google Bear Knox Music. I'll pop up somewhere for sure. So,
or go to the BL Gym in South Carolina.
Just find me. Like, come sign up, hang out. Just walk in. Man, we'll get you a key fob. You can come in 24 hours a day. So,
bring some drumsticks.
Dude, I swear to God, I've actually utilized drumming like rudiments as a training protocol for somebody that was rehabbing from an injury. Like teaching somebody a paradiddle after a brain injury, like bring shit back online. Yeah, really? It's super cool. so we'll get to the music therapy world.
Wait. You didn't clickbait this video. You didn't make this video on YouTube. Go on YouTube. You need to make how paradiddles increased my 1 rep max by 50%.
50! Yeah.
50%. You take the skinny guy, right? You can take like Bruce Banner, like Mark Ruffalo, Dad Bod, and you just have him be like 1 rep max next to him on bench, and it's like 2 pounds, and then you have the Hulk, and it's like 870, and it's like from paradiddles
all day.
And then you get in the you get the friggin' soy Jack Redditor meme. Dude, no, it's so nice to talk to a human. Star power, the missing piece that's going to kickstart the new era. It was star power, okay? It was star power. That's what we discussed here. And thank you for sticking in this long. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Love you. We're going to get back to the conversation. It's so nice. So everyone, go to the Bear Knox Music on the Instagram, on the social media, and you want to listen, go to, come on, people, party people, I love you. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, make sure to comment, tell us what you want. Reach me at Connor O. Farrell on Instagram, CONNERO. Farrell. Once again, that's Connero period Farrell on YouTube. There's no O in a period. It's just Connor Farrell. Everywhere else, it's like Connor Farrell. Maybe Twitter's Connor O, no period, Farrell. Beside that, let us know what you think. All of this. I hope you understand now. We're bringing back rock, and so if you want to join, come here. Rockers Unite. That's a catchphrase I'm working on, like Avengers Assemble. I was thinking Rockers Unite. Rockers Unite! Anyways, rockers, comment, like the things, watch my other videos. Yeah, and come here and start podcasting. Hit me up if you want any advice. How am I doing this? All this stuff. Do it. Please start doing it. I will send you all of my tips, all of my frameworks for getting videos to go well, and how I do things, and all of this stuff as I develop it. Just hit me up. DM me on Instagram. Comment in the comment section. I'll definitely reading all the comments and responding to them to get this to blow up. Go on YouTube, go in the comments, do that. And hopefully there will be a part 2 soon. Okay. Peace out, and see you in the next one,
Later,
rockers.
everybody.
Bye bye.